Yeah, good morning, students. So, first of all, we are going to start with the revision of array. Okay. Now, in the second practical that we are going to do, we are going to work with matrices. But what you will see is that, another function is also being supported into R to actually create the matrices. And we have to actually, we can say, create the matrices using that functions because then the way to perform matrix operations will become easier, but that is something okay which we're going to look into the we can say next practical. Okay, so what we will do is we are going to we can say start with the array revision. Okay, and then yeah we can go ahead with the another one. Okay, so let's say let me create a first vector. Okay, let me create it with three values. One. Okay, so one, two, and three. Okay, another vector. Let's say with values. You can say four, five, and six. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write row dot names. Okay, if at all you want to see, you can write print v1 and write print v2. Write row dot names. Okay, equals to c. Let's say r1, r2, r3. Yeah, I think so. If you wanted to go for 3 by 3, uh, it would be it has to be 9 values. Okay, and then we created two different vectors. Okay. Uh, so I think yeah. Instead, what we can do over here is there are six values available, right? Okay, because then we have created two vectors. So we can go for two rows. Let us just see. Maybe the number of columns will be three. Okay. Now, uh, as of now, okay. What we try to do is we try to skip matrix dot names, okay, and just see how it takes place. So then I'm going to write a1 c 1 comma v2. It will be actually six values, and dimension is equals to so two rows and three columns. So it will be c. You can say 2 comma 3 comma 1. I just want it one time, comma dimension names uh, is equals to list names comma names. Yes, I think we have given this also as a dimension. Let us try to skip it and see whether how it's working. Okay, so this is the simplest way by which you can create it. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Okay, we have done a bit differently than what we have done previously, so that if not necessary we don't have to repeat the matrix. Okay, so we can actually basically skip the third dimension over here, skip the matrix name also over here, right? Okay, So this will be, another aspect by which we can create, basically two-dimensional arrays. Okay, so I can, just quickly append it into the file in which we have already. So there are now two ways available with you, okay, to work with the matrices, to work with the arrays basically. Okay. So now we are going to start looking to the data frames. Okay. Now data frames will be very, very, very similar to, we can say, expect at a kind of a table, which is again having column names and values associated into a particular row. So you can expect we are going to, create a small table over here, or we can say a logical table over here, which will be just available to us until and unless. So it will be, we can say locally stored into the memory, available until and unless we are working with the code. As soon as we can say, we close the R, that data frame will not exist. So what I'm trying to tell you, it's not like a physical table that the next time, okay, you're going to open it, it is stored somewhere in this, because there is no server or something like that we are using. We're just trying to logically see that how we can create. Now why this will be helpful, so data frame is going to be helpful to us a lot when we are going to capture data from Excel, and basically, we have to process, and we have to first of all bring into R and then process the data. So most of the times the data in Excel will be in rows and columns, okay, in form of tables actually. So at that time it will become very easy. Also R can capture data from databases also, and in the databases we know that the data will be stored in which form. So when it will be migrated to R, it will become very easy when we will use data frame. So all that data which is stored that physically will come over here logically, and basically, we can process the data. Okay. So let's look it very clearly. We would be, seeing several examples. Okay, some little bit of operations onto it. So we can start with it. Okay, and very carefully we will try to understand that how it happens. Okay. So let me first, create a data frame which is storing, let's say, employee details, and it will store, let's say, employee ID, employee name, and employee salary. Okay, so what it is going to store is employee ID, employee name, and employee salary. Now, how I'm going to create? Okay, so I'm going to make a variable as usual, employee data, or you can also write, okay, employee data frame. Now, the function that we are going to use is data.frame. So if at all now we could just recall, we started with using C function for creating the vector, then list function we have used, then print function we have used, then array function is something which we have used, and now a new function that we are going to we are seeing is data.frame. Okay. Now, how we are going to have data.frame? Okay, so what we are going to write over here is simple. We have to write the column value and the values which will be there into the rows. Okay, so let's say my first column is going to be employee ID. So I'm going to write employee ID. Okay, and equals to will be all the values which should go in employee ID. So let's say I want to create, 5 records, so it will be C. So in a simple way it can go like this, or you can create a vector and pass it over here. Okay, so but let's say, if you want to create hundreds records, okay, so the easiest way would be, writing something like this. Okay, so it will help you to generate values as 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, comma. So this is my first column, and these are the values associated with it. Okay, which is my second column? So let's say my second column is employee name. So definitely now I have to provide 5 names over here. Remember, when you are going to give multiple values, you have to always make C function, or either you have to make a vector and, you have to pass a vector over here. Okay, so first value, let's say I'm going to make it very simple, AAA, and then second value as BPP, the third value as CCC, the fourth value as, and the fifth value as EPP. I just told you that we are going to have 3 columns: employee ID, employee name, and employee salary. Okay, so I'm done with my second column and the values for it. I put a comma, and now my next column, will be employee salary. again equals to C. Okay, and I have to now put, so when I move ahead, students, okay, you will see some part of it, okay, being truncating or not, will not be able to see. So you have to always take care about where you are. So employee salary C, I'll give five values, I'll over the C function, and I have to take care that I have to also over my data dot frame function. Okay, so let's say, let me give values as 1000, then 2000, then 3000, then okay. So let me just minimize it, to just yeah. So some, you will see that something like this will happen actually. Okay, so you have to see, you have to actually do a little bit of window manipulation. And let's say I give 5000, I complete my C function, and finally I complete my data dot frame function. Okay, and so you'll see something like this. Okay, as you go ahead into that line, and uh, you have to write it into the same line also. So that is another, we can say, thing which we have to follow. So now I'll put enter. Okay, fine. Now it's done, it looks complete. So if at all, okay, I want to show you how it looks like. Okay, so let me first copy it completely. I hope you are able to see my whole screen, right? So can you see the notepad file right now? Yes, you can put into the chat. Can you see the notepad file right now? Okay, okay, that's it, fine. So, yeah, okay, thanks. Now, so yeah, what I'm going to do is, I'll just show you, how it looks like. Okay, so last value got truncated, so we'll just put it over here. So I hope now you have clarity of how it actually looks like. Okay, okay, so this is what it is. Yeah, I think the last part was important because that part got truncated while I was writing. Fine. Now I'll go back to my R. Okay. So we have already came over here, and now I'm simply going to write print emp data. Okay, and yes, this is how. Okay, I think we got we gave value as 300. Okay, anyways, that's fine. Okay, so we do have scope to change it if we want to. Fine. So this is how your table is going to look like. Now there is another function, okay, which will actually give you certain more information about your employee data. Okay, so you can say, let's say, print. Okay, now this function is something, okay, which we will more understand once we do certain practicals of mean, median, mode, and everything. But there is a function which is known as summary, which you can always use on your data frames, and whichever numeric values are there, okay, it is going to basically process those values. Okay, so what it is going to do is, if you could see, then for employee salary, it has found out which is the minimum salary, which is the maximum salary, okay, the mean about it, the median about it, okay, the quartiles about it, and so on. So definitely we will have to go through all of these functions also in one of our practical. But point is that using this function, whichever numerical data are there, it will very easily be able to perform certain operations on it. Okay, definitely this is also treated as a numerical data right now, so it has performed something. But yes, we are more interested into this column. So this is something, an added advantage for using a data frame, and whatever numerical columns you would be having into the data frame, it can easily actually help us for that. Okay. Now next in data frame is that what if if you want to just see the values of a particular column, or let's say if you just want to access values of a particular column, so then I'm going to write print, okay, and employee data, okay, and then you have to use dollar, and then you have to write the name of the column. So I'm going to write, let's say, employee name, okay. What you see, the output is getting converted in form of a vector and it is given to us, okay. So then if you want, you can use these values, you can process these values and so on, okay. Let's say dollar, okay. So this is how we can say you are basically going to access uh, the simple column values from a data frame. Now what if, okay, you want to, let's say, create another data frame from the same data frame, okay, that you are already having, but let's say you want to only use some of the columns. So let's say I want to create another table, okay, but I want only employee name and employee salary into it, and it should be, we can say, a kind of a replica of this table or something like that. So what I'm going to do is, let's say, employee data, okay, and I will say copy, okay, and I'm going to make use of data dot frame. Then over here, the first, let's say, the column will be employee data dollar employee name. So we know in employee data dot employee name we got this as an output, but because we have actually converted into data dot frame, it will the visibility will happen as rows and columns. Put a comma, employee data dollar employee salary, print, okay. So what you could see is that I got a new data frame, employee data copy, and now it is having the first column, which is employee data dot employee name, which has actually came from the employee data frame, and the second column is like this. So you can always have a replicas of the data frames which are existing. These at times you need it because you want some intermediate processing of the data frame which is already existence and given to you. Okay, so what we saw till now, okay, is let me quick recall and then we will go ahead. Okay, we saw how to create a data frame, then we saw the summary function, then we saw how we can extract column values from the particular data frame, and we also saw how we can actually create a copy data frame from the data frame which is already existing and given to us. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, let me just put all of these things into our notepad file so that we can work ahead now. Okay, fine. So I'll have control L. Okay, remember that two data frames are already available to us: employee data and employee data copy. Okay, just give me a moment. Fine. So now let us see some other things, okay, how we can process onto the data frame that we are already having. So before that, okay, I will just again print the data frame that we are using right now. Okay, we have already seen how we can extract the particular columns and we can extract the particular columns and print it. Now we will see how we can extract some particular rows. So I'm going to write print data. Okay. Now I want, let's say, only the first two rows. Okay, I want to display only the first two rows. Okay, so what we are going to write is that either we can use a temporary variable to store it, or you can directly print it. So as of now, let's use a temporary variable. So I'm going to write emp data emp1, and then you're going to have like something like this employee data. You are going to use square bracket. Okay, and because you want the first two rows and all the columns, so you will write 1 colon 2 comma and leave it as it is. Print data. Okay, let's say if you want the first three rows. Okay, let's try to give something like this. Okay, so this is how you can actually fetch the type the number of rows that you basically want from it. Okay, so using we can say using this operation we have to simply write a square bracket, and then you have to simply we can say write the number of rows, okay, that basically you want to we can say get the number of rows as an output. But now let's say if at all you provide just one parameter over there. Okay, so I'll just show you what I want to say. So if I write something like this, I just write 2. Okay, and I give a comma. Okay, so yeah, this is as a single row also, it can basically work. So we now also know that how we can extract some particular rows which we need, and then also we also know that how we can extract some particular column. So we can mix both of ideas, and if at all you want only a particular row and then a value of only a particular column, you can do so. So now you have this row. So if you let's say you want to just extract employee name, I think we all are aware about that how we can extract just employee name from it. So in that case, okay, I can write emp data 1. Okay, now emp data 1 is having this. Okay, so if at all let's say I just want the employee name, so I am going to write emp data t1, and dollar I can write emp name. Okay, yeah, so this is what I was trying to tell you. Fine. Okay, so this is where you can specifically extract some portion of your data frame. Okay, which is there with you. Okay, so let me put this stuff into the notepad. Let's go back. Okay, okay. Again, let me print our data frame, the main data frame that we are using. Okay. Now what we are going to do is we are going to add one more column to the existing data frame. So let's say we have employee ID, employee name, and employee salary, and we are going to add we can say department over there. Okay, so how we are going to do? So now see, what we understood is how we can create a data frame, then we understood summary function, then we understood how we can actually extract some particular column, then we understood how we can extract some particular row. Also we understood how we can make a replica of a data frame. Now two important things that we will understood, which we always have in any of the tables, that is either adding a row or adding a column. So first of all we will see how we can add a column. So I just told you that we are going to now add a department column to the current data frame. Okay, so to do so, what we are going to write is we will write emp data dollar the name of the column. So let's say in our case it is department, and then simply providing the values. So I'm going to write IT, okay, okay, just EMP data dollar department. Okay, yeah, I think we have five values, right? Okay, so yes, I think let's then give ID again. Okay, yeah, so print then EMP data. Yeah, okay, so this is how we can basically, it is as simple as assigning a vector to a new column. So we first of all mentioned that this is the new column name, and then we have, actually given five values over there. And yes, now they are being attached over here. Okay, so this using this way, basically we can say that you are going to create or add a new column into your existing data frame. Let's go back. Now we will see how we can add a particular row. Now to add a particular row, we have to just take care that when I'm going to add a row, or when we are going to add a row, we have to actually give employee ID, employee name, employee salary, and department. So these one, two, three, four values should be given. So you have a possibility either to add one row, or you have also a possibility to either add multiple rows. Uh, so how basically we can do this. Now to do that, you actually need to create another data frame only, okay, which will be having more number of values, and then you have to append this new data frame to the existing data frame. So let's say my existing data frame is emp data. Now I'm going to create a new data frame, okay, and I'm going to add some more values to it, and then I'm going to I can say append it to this existing database, existing data frame. So to do that, okay, what I'm going to write is I'll have control L. I'll say employee data or new, okay, and then the code goes very similar to the way by which we have created the data frame. So it will be data.frame. The words and everything should be very similar of the columns. Let's say I want to add now 1 to 5 is already there. So let's say I want to now have 6 to 8. So 6, 7, 8, three values are there. Okay. So similarly, six values needs to be given into name also. So we have till D. Okay. So let's have our third column was employee salary. So let's say again 1000, 3000. Now, not to forget, we now have another column also, that is department. Again, three values needs to be given. So we will say HR. Okay, let's say marketing. Okay, let's print data frame that we have created. Okay, fine. Now there are two data frames existing with us. Okay, fine. And now what you want to do is you want to append, we can say you want to append these this data to this data frame. Okay, so now we are learning a new function. To do that, what you're going to do is so there are several ways. First of all, okay, I can create another data frame which is a merger of both of them. So I can write employee final data will be. So to merge two data frames, the function that we use is rbind. I provide the first data frame that is employee data, and we provide the next data frame that is employee data new. We say so. The only purpose to create a new data frame will be if you don't want both of these data frames to be lost as an individual. But if at all you want to merge into the existing data frame also, then you have to go for something like this: employee data, and then it has to be rbind employee data. Okay, and it will be emp data new. emp data. Yes, so now your EMP data itself got modified. So these are the two alternatives. Either you want your original data frame to get modified and appended with the values, that also is possible. Or if you want to have a new data frame, and you wanted to merge both of the data frames into it, then also it is possible. Okay, so this is the idea behind, we can say, merging the two data frames. So the function that we use is basically rbind. Okay, fine. So what we saw in data frames is, we can say, creating the data frame. Okay, having some functions on it like summary. Then okay, so I think, yeah, uh, we can say, creating uh, data frame, and summary, say extracting columns, then you can say creating copy of data frame. Okay, then we can say adding column, adding, also we cannot say actually adding new rows, but we created, so we can say, rather than binding to data frames. So yeah, these are the basic, operations with respect to data frame, and this is how you are going to work on with data frames into R. Okay, so yeah, that's all from my end. Okay, thank you all of you.